Hey, it's Captain Matt with Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon, and today we are talking about how to tell if you're getting a good deal on the boat that you're looking at. So we're looking at a used boat that a viewer sent to me. This is a 2016 Godfrey Sweetwater 200C Premium Edition. So it's a 20-foot pontoon from Sweetwater, and it's powered with a 115 Yamaha four-stroke. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the options, and I'm going to tell you kind of how I tell, hey, are we in the ballpark for the price of this particular boat? Now, the other thing is this gentleman invested in the magic money saving method, so he knows how to negotiate. He knows the secret method to ensuring you get the best deal. You don't overpay. So he invested. That's why I'm doing this for him. Just wanted to give a little bit extra. So this boat has only 26 hours on the motor. It's a 115 four-stroke. It's got lifting strakes. The premium edition includes docking lights, armrest with cup holders, plush vinyl, Sony Bluetooth, infinity speakers, a ski tow bar. It says a ski tower, but I'm assuming that's a ski tow bar. Double-sided entrance, including one for a handicap chair, teak woven final teak look woven final floor, a 10-person capacity, and let's see, trailer is if trailer is not needed, we'll deliver to your marina. So it includes a 2021 tandem axle trailer, which can be a purchase for an additional amount. So there's no trailer with this boat. We're just looking at boat and motor. So that's the first thing you need to do is know what's all included, and it looks like there's stuff in this with keywords in there at Champion Motors. So it looks like this is not a boat dealership. That this is. Oh, I guess they are. Um, let's see if they've got other boats here. Okay, yeah. So they've got they are a true boat dealer. So here's what we're going to do. This is the best way, just for every consumer has access to this, and it's to go to NADA Guides / boats. And if you just go to NADAguides.com, you can click on boats up here in the top right. You can see my little blue finger pointer. You click on that, and it's going to come here. Now, when you're dealing with something with an outboard motor, you may have to do a little math and do things separately. If you've got a trailer, you've got to do things separately as well in some cases. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, what's the boat that we have? So we're going to go, it's a power boat. So we're going to click on power boats right here, and we're going to select the make first. So we are going to look for Sweetwater, and we may have to go. Okay, so it's not under Sweetwater. It's going to be under the parent brand, which is Godfrey. So Godfrey pontoon boats, and that's going to give us an option to go to the year. So this was a 2016, and now it's going to say, okay, so we're at 2016 Godfrey pontoon, and it is the 200. Let's take a look if we can get the exact. It is a 200C Premium Edition. So let's see if we've got a 200C, and it doesn't look like premium. Okay, so we found the premium, the 200 premium, and I don't see a 200C. And so NADA guides may not break it down to the exact level the way they advertise it, or the way they advertise it may be a little bit wrong. So you'll want to go into the one that makes the most sense. And you can see we kind of had to search. There was another 200 we could have selected in the, I guess that was in the Aqua Patio, which is another brand that they have, Sanpan, Sweetwater. So we are going to choose in the premium the 200. You can see it's a 22-foot boat, 8.5-foot beam, 2155 dry weight without the motor. All right, so we're going to click there, and you can put in your zip code. I don't know exactly what zip code. Let me see if I can find out the zip code here. Okay, so we don't know the zip code. I'm just going to use a zip code in the Midwest um, that will. All right, so we'll just use that zip code. You want to put that zip code in your area because there will be some variations based on the location, but they're going to be pretty close. So you can put the zip code in where you're buying it. Now, when you get to this point, so we've got the 2016 Godfrey Pontoon by Sweetwater, the 200, and what we're going to do is as you're selecting these options, you can see a bimini top. It does have a bimini top. It's a 20-foot boat with a cover. Now, but here's the thing: is because there's not very many boats sold, and NADA guides they can only gather so much data. So there's some of these options that are going to be baked into just the base price when you're looking at a used boat. If it's an option that you would expect to have on a 20-foot Sweetwater pontoon, like a bimini top, like a canvas cover, um, you really don't want to click on that because it's almost like double counting because they throw all of those santans or all of those Godfrey pontoons together by Sweetwater, and they're if it's a standard feature that's on them, it's already been baked into that average price. Now, if it's something that's unusual to have, like let's say that oh should have a depth finder. Let's see if there's anything that would be unusual. Let's say it had a flat panel TV, that somebody put that on there. Well, that's not typically going to be found on a pontoon, so you'd want to include that. If it wasn't a standard feature or it wasn't a commonly way that those boats were ordered, and you can kind of tell that based on looking at other boats that you've looked for sale. If they almost all have bimini tops, well, no, you're going to be double counting. If they almost all have canvas covers, you're going to be double counting. So it'll vary by the type of boat that you're looking at. But fishing, there were no fishing options on it. Most of the time, a pontoon is going to be pretty much just the way it is. Jet drive, optional equipment. Um, most pontoons with a 115 are going to have a ski tow bar, so we're not really going to include that. Lifting strakes, most of them with the 115 are going to include that. So I'm not gonna put it on. Most of them are gonna have a cover. There's really, other than the ski tow bar, that would be the one that, you know what, maybe I would include the ski tow bar. We'll put it in there and I'll show you how it works. Click continue, and now it's going to say, okay, what motor do you have? So I believe this was a Yamaha 115 four-stroke, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, let's go with the Yamaha. I'm going to assume it's the same year as the boat. That's not necessarily the case, so you'll want to double check. It is the 115, and we don't know exactly which one it is. This is going to indicate what's the shaft length, what is the exact motor, what controls are on it. That's what these letters LF 115XB, F 115XB. So we are going to choose just the very first one, which is typically going to be the base one. We've only got one motor, and then we don't have a trailer. You can add the trailer in here, but we don't have a trailer, so we're going to leave that off, and we're going to click submit. Now, what's going to happen is NADA Guides is going to give us two prices. They're going to give us the low retail, which is typically what a dealer would give for trade on that boat, a ballpark. The average retail is what's the average that boat is sold it's a 1 or if it's a 10 in condition. And you'll see the average retail is 18,150 is what the base price was when that boat came out. Okay, so in 2016, if you were going to go buy this boat, the base of that boat is 18,150. Then you add the motor and you add the options. The ski tow bar. No, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The suggested retail price is 24,145. That's what it was when it was new, and then you add in the motor. So 35,600 is what you're looking at. If you were to buy this boat in 2016, that would be the MSRP. Okay, the low retail is the trade, 15,870, $300 for the tow bar, and then the Yamaha is 75.25. So the low retail, 23,695. If I was trading this boat into the dealer, that's what I would expect them to offer me in that ballpark, plus or minus 5-10%, plus or minus another percentage depending on condition of the boat. The better condition, the higher the amount, the lower condition, the lower, obviously. And then the average, 18,150, the ski tow bar, 340, and then the outboard, 84.55. So 26,945 is the average. Now, like I said, there's boats that are in much better condition. There's boats that are in much worse condition than the average. So this average, you'll usually see it about a 10%, maybe 15% swing to the high side and to the low side. So you can see to the low side, it's about just over $3,000. So 30, what is that? About $3,300. So just over 10%, probably not quite 15% to the low side. So you would assume about the same amount to the high side of about 29, 30,000 or so if the boat's in perfect condition. So that would be what NADA Guides is giving me. Now, this is not 100% accurate. If you see something that's way out of line, well, guess what? There might be something that's out of whack there. But on this boat, it said it was, let's go back to the description, 26 hours on the motor. Well, the first thing that tells me is this boat is 4 years, almost 5 years old. Is I would definitely want to get the compression checked, and I would want to check the oil and the gear lube, and I would also want to check the computer records on that Yamaha and see what RPM history was run and were there any codes. The other thing I would want to ask is when were the fluids changed and when was the last time the impeller was changed? Because 26 hours in 5 years, that's 5 hours a year. But what I know about boats like this is the first year is when they typically get their most use, and then you want to be careful that the boat hasn't been sitting for the last 3 or 4 years and not been run at all. So I'm going to check the compression, I'm going to check the fluids, I'm going to ask when all the service was done, and they're asking 34.9. So they're basically asking 35,000 on this boat. In a typical market time, I would probably be willing to pay 30, 29. If I was negotiating and I was making an offer, I would go in with this NADA Guides report and I would offer 27,000 and say, hey, that's average. I know this boat's in, has low hours. It's probably in good condition. I didn't look at all of the pictures, but it looks like it's in good condition. A little bit of dirt on the tunes. That is not a standard prop, I don't think. I would check that, see how it's propped out. Again, that's why you're checking the computer readout. If that's the wrong prop and this boat's been running at high RPMs or extremely low RPMs, that tells you something as well. Interior looks nice. Don't see any rips or tears. It looks like if the cover has been on this boat, I would assume. So that all looks pretty good. Helm looks nice. It's got the C-Star assist steering, or whatever Yamaha uses for their steering. So yeah, this looks like it's probably a boat that's on the higher end of a little bit dirty, but that black shows off some dirt pretty well. So this boat is definitely going to be on the high end of the price, right? So this is in better than average condition. So I would start with my offer at if they're going to make me an offer or make if I'm going to have to make an offer to get started, I'd probably start around 27, maybe 28 if I really like the boat and it's one that I'm happy with the dealer. I think they're going to be good and honest with me. They're going to give me the compression check. I'm allowed to be there when they hook it up to the computer, check the gear lube and check the oil, and do the compression check. Okay, then I'm probably 27, maybe 28. I know they're not going to accept that. If they do, great. I'm ecstatic. I'm super happy. But they're asking 35. I would probably, based on this, if I settled in at about 29, 30,000, I think you're getting a really good deal. I think if you're paying 33, 34, 35, you're probably overpaying a little bit. But again, if you remember, I said in normal times, this is how I would look at it. Right now, during COVID times, as I record this, there is a huge deficit in supply. So the demand is much higher than the supply, even though there's snow flying in parts of the country, and it's January. If you want a boat, you may have to be on the higher side and just know that hey, if you want it, you're gonna have to pay it. Doesn't mean I want you to overpay. I want you to negotiate down and get it as low as you can to a fair price and to a price that you're saving as much money as possible. And Gary, with the magic money saving method, you'll be able to use that strategy and use those lines and the way of doing it to get that down. But like I said, if you got down into the high 20s, I think you'd be in really good shape. Maybe 29, 30 is about where I'd be. If you need that trailer, they're probably looking at a trailer for this boat about 2,000, 2,500 if it's a really nice trailer. So maybe you could negotiate a little bit more on the trailer as well, and work on that. So that's kind of how I would look at where should I start. Is go through there, be realistic. Don't say, well, it's average retail, so I'm going to buy this boat at average retail. I won't go above that. Well, if the boat's in above average condition and you want a boat that's in above average condition, guess what? You're going to have to pay over average retail because that's just the way it works. That's fair market value is above that average retail. Now I'll tell you that dealers will have a NADA guide book in most cases, and that will show low, average, and high retail. So if you can get them to show you on their side the high retail, and you'll get that base price, and you'll have to look up the outboard separate and do the math. And again, we put the ski tow bar in there because on that 20-footer, it's probably not always on there. So I think that's a fair add of that $340. That's the way that I'm going to look at the pricing. And the other thing to take into consideration is the average includes the saltwater boats. So it may not be as important on this pontoon, but if you're looking at center consoles, if you're looking at some bow riders, some cruisers, even some pontoons these days, there's going to be a portion of them that are saltwater, and that automatically gives you a 10 or 15 point or percentage price reduction when you're looking at a saltwater boat. You can look right in the NADA guides, and it says saltwater usage, and I believe it's 10 or 15% discount to average retail price. So they're already saying, hey, there's a discount if it's a saltwater boat because we've already included all of them in here. This is the average, but you do need to make that adjustment on the saltwater side. So hopefully that is helpful for you, Gary. This is the way I look at it. I'm going to share this with everybody. That's why I didn't give your last name or your actual location. I will not put this video live for another week, so you got time to negotiate, so nobody sneaks in and steals this Sweetwater out from under you. Thank you for investing in the Magic Money Saving Method. If you haven't, if you're thinking about buying a boat and you haven't invested in that for $27 or $47, whatever it is, if we're doing that discount or not, when you watch this, it will definitely save you hundreds of dollars, likely thousands, and for some people even tens of thousands of dollars if you're looking at a little bit higher priced boat. But I get emails all the time from people that say, they've saved $2,000, $3,000, and with that method, it's super easy. Anybody can use it. So check that out, boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/save. And Gary, let me know how you do on this. If you end up pulling the trigger, if you get to an amount that you're happy with, and let me know where you come in. Thanks a lot, and we will talk to you next time. Remember, life truly is better on a boat.